Hello, everybody. Steven Ruderman here with your Insomniac Lunatic Friends Giants postgame show. Well, guess what? The pesto turned out great. And not only did the pesto turn out great, but the Giants had a nice 2-1 win in 10 innings tonight. They bounced back from yet another horrible loss to take the series. The Giants would get a run in the top of the first inning when Jung-Hoo Lee would fist a base hit with two outs out to left center field off Jamison Talion or Talon, I beg your pardon, and that would extend Jung-Hoo Lee's hitting streak to 15. And Jung-Hoo Lee has been on fire since coming off the injured list. You know, he went 4 for 5 in his first night off the IL. He went 11 for 15 in his series in Denver. Went 1 for 4 tonight. His average now at 323 on the year. And Jung-Hoo Lee is on fire. The Giants would waste a shot in the top of the second. Jameson Talon strained his hamstring and is now already on the injured list as a result of that. Giants would waste a shot in the top of the second inning. And the guy you have to really tip your hat to is Javier Assad. He came in at the last minute, got as many pitches as he needed, and he pitched 6 1/3 lights out innings, giving up just a hit, walking just 1, and striking out 5. Trevor McDonald got the start for the Giants. Decent start, 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. He walked 3, struck out 6. JT Brubaker pitched the 6th. Cable Killian the 7th. Eric Miller, who you all know I want him to be the closer. He pitched the 8th and got out of a jam. And then Keaton Wynn, he got out of a jam in the bottom of the 9th. And for the second night in a row, or should we say game in a row, because yesterday was a day game, we were going to extra innings. Craig Counsell went with Trent Thornton in the top of the 10th. It was the top of the 10th, which meant we had the Manfred runner. The Giants were unable to take advantage of that yesterday. Jonah Cox pinch ran for Bryce Eldridge and was the Manfred runner today. Matt Chapman at the plate, and he gets a little seeing eye single off the end of the bat into right center field for a base hit. Cox scores. Giants take the lead. Less than 2 strikes. Key RBI situation. All Matt Chapman's trying to do there is put the bat on the ball and put it in play. The old Tony Gwynn, hit it where they ain't. That, because it is baseball and anything can happen, is how the Giants could feasibly turn their season around. As I said on the pregame, the 2 biggest reasons the Giants have sucked this season is that they have no pitching and that they have, for the most part, refused to shorten their swings in key RBI situations. We saw Willy Adames strike out in the first inning. The Giants, in the top of the second, it was Rafael Devers who was trying to hit a home run and then looked at strike 3 again. Rafi's been looking at a lot of called third strikes, and even though Rafi had a great May, his June has been horrendous. Here in the month of June, Rafael Devers is 4 for 30. That's a 133 batting average. He has had 14 strikeouts and 34 plate appearances, 41% of his plate appearances, just 1 home run and 2 RBIs. Again, this is the guy I actually want the Giants to trade. And if the Giants could get lucky and find a way to trade him, that would be great. And I do think that trading him is doable. I believe that would absolutely take him. As I mentioned, that short porch at Yankee Stadium. I think the Giants could get maybe a little bit of something from the Yankees. And if you trade him, then you can call Jesus Rodriguez back up to be the DH. You want my honest opinion? I'd rather have Jesus Rodriguez be the designated hitter and in the lineup than Rafael Devers. Have Rodriguez be the DH, move Eldridge over to first. Eldridge can play first, and just get Rafi out of the lineup. All right, so Dylan Smith. This is only his 3rd appearance as a Giant. Of course, the Giants got him for cash from the Tigers. I think it was on March 30th. May have been the 31st, but I think it was the 30th. He was the man that Tony went to in the bottom of the 10th. Pete Crow Armstrong was the Manfred runner at second. The former Giant, Michael Conforto, was at the plate. He struck out swinging with Michael Busch at the plate. Crow Armstrong just got an incredible jump and took third, sliding head first Daniel Susak got out of the squad as quickly as he could, but just nothing he can do. Nothing he could do. Too good a jump for Pete Crow Armstrong. So tying run at third, infield's in. Tough situation. Michael Bush pops it up. Middle of the infield. You had Arias going out. You had Willie Adames going out. You had Jonah Cox, who had stayed in the game in center, moving Gilbert to left and getting Casey Schmidt, who had started in left, been playing a lot of left field lately, out of the game. Adames made the catch, jogged in to make sure Crow Armstrong wasn't going anywhere. Crow Armstrong wisely stayed at third. Up came Alex Bregman. Again, this is the beef of the Cubs lineup right here. Bregman pops up to Adames at short, and the Giants find a way to get the win. You know, what sucked about yesterday was the Giants were an out away from winning 4 games in a row for the first time this season. And they couldn't get it done. And today the Giants were an out away, and I was thinking this is going to probably be the 6th game this year in which the Giants lead in the have 3 outs to go, lead in the final inning, and are going to end up losing. And this will be the 4th time that they're going to be an out away and end up losing. But hey, Dylan Smith, congratulations to the kid. He got his first big league save. So a nice win. Giants end up with a 5-5 road trip. They take the series. And how about the Cubs? The Cubs just under a month ago had the best record in baseball at 27-12. They have since absolutely spiraled. They have gone 7-20 in their last 27 games and have fallen all the way to just 2 games over 500 at 34-32. So nice win by the Giants. They're back to 12 games under 500 at 27-39. They will have a 6-game homestand coming up against the Nationals and against the Cubs, these very Cubs over the weekend, Monday through Wednesday, tomorrow through Wednesday against the Nationals, day off Thursday, Friday through Sunday against the Cubbies. Hey, maybe the Giants can go 5-1 on the homestand, and that would get their record to 32-40. Never know. But hey, I want to get that 4-game winning streak. I want to get a series sweep. Can I actually put in a little copium here, if you will? In 2012, the Giants didn't win 4 in a row or sweep a series until they swept the Cubs in a 4-game wraparound series at what was then AT&T Park, June 1st through the 4th. Just want to point that out. Actually, in 2019, the Giants didn't win 4 in a row or sweep a series. They didn't win 4 in a row till June. I don't think they had swept a series at any point early that season. And this season has a bit of a 2019 feel to it. The Giants were 12 games under 500 that June. And then, of course, got white hot to go to all the way to over 500. Pablo hit the walk-off home run on July 23rd, the opposite field shot to left against the Cubs. Giants were 2 over, trying to make that one final run in Bruce Bochy's final year, but they kind of sputtered and went 77-85. I wouldn't be surprised if this season goes similarly. We could be the Giants. My hope is the Giants could be 6 back on Labor Day. And Larry Bear, we played meaningful baseball in September. Well, kidding aside, they could draw their $3 million, but also hopefully trade people like Rafael Devers and perhaps Matt Chapman for prospects. Though if Rafi really goes stone cold here in June, that's going to make trading Rafi a lot harder. But just a nice win. I really hope this team doesn't lose over 100 games. I hope they can stay under 90 losses. That might be a tall order at this point, but I'll give it to this team. They have not phoned it in. They've won 4 of the last 5. They've looked like a very different team over the last 5 games. Now, granted, they've stopped hitting over the last couple games, and that's because they scored 18 runs with the wind blown out at Wrigley. By the way, the Giants have 6 grand slams this year. I mentioned on the pregame that the Giants, despite how bad their offense has been, they've always been that they've been near the bottom of the league in runs. They have the second most total bases, but as I said, they get guys on, but then they refuse to shorten their swings in key RBI situations for the most part, and that's why they are so low in runs. So when they hit all those home runs Friday with the wind blowing out, I'm like, okay, this is not good because now they're going to feel like they can start hitting home runs again. And yesterday, with the wind blowing in from right field, they were trying to hit everything out, and, well, they suffered the consequences for it. Today, they were trying to hit everything out again. Thankfully, it didn't hurt them too much, but Adames striking out in the first inning. They could have scored more in the first inning. Devers going for it and then looking at strike 3 in the top of the second. They could have scored more today, but thankfully they came away with the win. Logan Webb tomorrow against the veteran for the Nationals, Miles Mikolas. He's been around a long time. We've seen the real Logan Webb, really, since his return from the injured list. He had that, right knee bursitis. We've really seen the real Logan Webb since coming back. I think that injury may have played a big role. He took a no-hitter into the 7th inning at American Family Field in Milwaukee on Wednesday. Hopefully he can deliver another good outing for the Giants tomorrow. The one thing that the Giants couldn't really do last year was win games before Logan Webb started. It seemed like Webb was always the stopper. Well, this year the Giants have won quite a bit of games before Webb starts, but he just couldn't come through. Though actually, now that I think about it, each of his first 2 starts off the IL came after Giants losses. So now that he's pitching well again, it seems like he's having to be the stopper again. I want to talk about a play that happened in Toronto today. The Orioles and the Blue Jays were playing. It was 4-1 Orioles in the bottom of the 6th inning. And I can't show it because, Major League Baseball has strict rules about who can. I don't have written or oral permission or whatever the protocol is for Major League Baseball. I'd love to get it, but as of right now, I do not have it, so I can't show it. I can only describe it. So it was the bottom of the 6th inning, and the Blue Jays, this was at Rogers Center in Toronto, and the Blue Jays had runners at first and third with 1 out. With Valenzuela, the catcher at the plate, he hit a chopper up the middle. Gunnar Henderson, the shortstop, came over to field it. I think that was Ernie Clement. It was Brandon Valenzuela who hit it. Yes, it was Ernie Clement. He was the runner at first, or as we would say in rulebook terminology, R1. So he went way out of his way. You can't go more than 3 feet out of your way, out of your base path, to avoid a tag. And he went way out of his way. So Gunnar Henderson did kind of a half-assed, like a little this with Clement, probably closer to the outfield grass than to Gunnar Henderson's glove. And Clement was not called out for running out of the base path. And, I want to clarify this. It is not the base line. It is the base path. So I want to clarify that part of it. So things then fell apart for the Orioles. The Blue Jays would go on to score 5 runs in that 6th inning. It was because of that call. No, it wasn't because of that call. It was because of that rule. And I will explain. I got right here my rule book, and we are going to turn our rule books to Rule 509B1. Rule 5.09B1. Rule 5.09B, retiring a runner. And then you have Rule 5.09B1, which says any runner is out when he runs more than 3 feet away from his base path to avoid being tagged unless his action is to avoid interference with a fielder fielding a batted ball. A runner's base path is established when the tag attempt occurs and is a straight line from the runner at that point. They don't have at the point in the book, but I'm just going to add that, to the base he is attempting to reach safely. So he did start veering to his right, he being Ernie Clement, before Henderson fielded the ball. And he also wasn't that close to Henderson when he fielded the ball. And his little half-assed tag attempt was not a real tag attempt. So the umpires on that play, Nick Lentz was the second base umpire, Dexter Kelly was the first base umpire, did not call that. And I am going to tell you right now, that was 100% the correct call. Gunnar Henderson did not make a legitimate attempt at tagging Ernie Clement. And this right here is something that Major League Baseball needs to tweak over the offseason. Because under this rule, if you're a runner at first or second, or third even, and a fielder fields a ground ball and he's going to be in your way, but he's not that close to you and is not yet attempting to make a tag, you could feasibly run all the way to the warning track to avoid the tag. They need to change the rule to the base path being established when the ball is fielded, and by fielded I mean the infielder has firm and secure possession. From that second, that is when the base path, because there is no direct baseline. There is no rule book baseline or base path. And again, it's base path, not baseline. The rule should be that the base path should be established from the time the fielder has clear, firm and secure possession of the ball. That should be the new rule. Because as I said, under this current rule, the runner could feasibly run all the way to the warning track because if the infielder is like 20 feet away from him, because the infielder hasn't made a tag attempt on him yet. So that is a rule that needs to be changed by Major League Baseball. The umpires absolutely got this 100% correct. Hats off to the umpires on the play. Nick Lentz at second and Dexter Kelly at first base. Hats off to the crew chief, Hunter Wendelstead. Hunter had a funny line after the game when he was talking. It was actually a very gentlemanly thing to do, getting out of the way to allow the fielder to make the play at first base. If he unintentionally hinders the fielder fielding the ball, which he was in no danger of doing here, then he's out. Batter runner reaches first base. If he deliberately hinders the fielder while attempting to field the ball, then he, R1, and the batter runner are both out. But mainly, there was no real tag attempt by Gunnar Henderson. The umpires got the call right. But what they really need to do here is have the base path established the second the fielder has fielded the ball and has firm and secure possession of the ball. That's how you're going to do this. That's how you're going to fix this rule. Umpires got it right. Nick Lentz, Dexter Kelly, Hunter Wendelstead all did a good job there. Something that Major League Baseball needs to fix over the offseason. All right, Giants and Nationals, 6:45 tomorrow night. This has been a production of Sports Radio Service. The views and language on this program do not reflect those of Sports Radio Service, its leader and my boss, Lee Leonard, or their sponsors. For Lee, I'm Stephen Rubin. Hope you enjoyed my mumblings tonight. Giants win 2-1. Let's see what they can do when they get back home. Have a good night. I'll talk to you soon.